All right, folks. Kevin here, Life22. YouTube's always given me some weird stuff. Today, as of October 31st, they've switched over their live streaming. I don't do a lot of live streaming because I don't come in as high quality as I do because my cameras usually do. If they're 1080p cameras, they only come in at 720. If you're live streaming, if you're local recording right to the device and then upload it later, it's 1080. So, anyways, Kevin, Life22. And this is our NoShave NoVember. So, as you can see, got rid of the scruff. This is actually, I shaved October 30th because in November you're not supposed to remove any of your hair from your face, chest, back, armpits, nether regions, or head. So I didn't think I needed a haircut. Kind of poking up a little bit here and there, hat hair. But I didn't think I need too much of a haircut, but I definitely wanted to shave the beardo before because it was getting a little, or I was picking at it, and I have a tendency to remove hairs that way, and I don't want to violate the rules of the game. No shave November. So this is 2 days. I got stubble, so we're in trouble. Anyways, that said, a sober October ended as of 11:59 p.m. last night. Made it a whole month. No smoking, no drinking. That's cigarettes, cigars, the marijuana. If you smoke crack, you know, no drinking beer. So sobriety is not just for alcohol, which they smoke cigars a couple times a year, as you know, once in a while. What the hell's going on? YouTube is not receiving. Anyways. So, regardless, as you can tell, I tangle with Mary Jane every so often, very, very far and few between. They drink beer. I like my beer. Summertimes I like my gin. I like my gin, my mojitos. But, I'd never smoked a cigarette in my life. But, alright, well that said, so sober October went well. Zero fails, zero faults. I'm sure you've probably noticed, I'll have to check this later, how the new lighting is working out. I got some shadows casting in the background, but before it was like pitch black right behind me, which stunk. So I had a customer that needed a floodlight, and it didn't fit his device, so I'm testing it out in a lamp. It's an LED 300 watt equivalent light. It's pretty powerful. Like, I can't stare straight at it. So, but it was so bright that my face looked pigmentless. It's actually only 38 watts, which is more than sufficient to handle in your average lamp, which can handle a 60 watt maximum. So an actual wattage is 38, but it's putting off the lumens equivalent to a 300 watt incandescent, which is really cool. So I ended up having to put a piece of legal paper over top of it, just so that I could shadow over it and disperse the light a little bit. But it's a $30 light bulb, so I got stuck with that for a customer. So figure I might as well use it, right? So, but it working out pretty well. Hopefully, it works out pretty well. So sober October went well. My sister only made it 10 days. She's out in California. I've roped her into coming on the podcast. I was trying to get her out there tonight on the podcast, but she's at a wedding for one of our cousins, or a preamble for the wedding. My little brother didn't participate. My father didn't participate. I think I was like I had a couple buddies that participated, but they only did it for beer, or some only did it for pot. Everybody's had their own thing, stuck to it strong, which worked out. I had lots of energy, which was great. I had lots of extra, like I felt like I had extra time, like the achy, like, so the first couple days it was like, oh my god, I'm dying. Like I'd come home from work just super stressed out, and what do I want? What do I want? What do I want? I want a beer. I definitely want a beer. I so want a beer. And then I'd leave, I'd get done with work, and you know, for the first 2 days it's like, oh, I want a beer. Hey, guess what I want, honey? Yeah, beer. And after that, it disappeared. That I want a beer disappeared, and it was great because it was like, for the first 7 days though, it was all achiness. So it was like, you know, like my body was like rehydrating, so it was like joints and like, you're getting older, Kevin. Oh. So every morning I'd wake up and I'd have aches and cracks, and just like I had been drinking all day, like, you know what I mean? Like your body's just, which was good. So my body was hydrating back to normal and replenishing much needed H2O. So that worked. Drank a lot more water because of all the dehydration, the dehydrating noticeably affects. I cut down to just one coffee a day, and I got a lot more stuff done. Especially, it's been a busy October. 24 hours of in-service training for a code enforcement official. I've got my code enforcement certification. I had till the end of this month to get it done. Was on deadline for 2 different jobs, plus making all these the other customers happy with little, you know, piddly jobs that I had to just run around and go to handle, and still handling all the paperwork of a business and dealing with tenants and all the other stuff that I normally deal with. Just a crazy month. And then it's election season, so in 4 days, because today's November 1st, 4 days from now, November 5th, it will be election day. So not a big election day because it's not a gubernatorial year. It's not a presidential year. So typically voters at the polls, lower turnout. But this year they started early voting, which is new for our county, which is new across the state. And I think a lot of people, I don't know, I'm going to go on election day. I'm kind of excited to go on election day. I'm probably going to take some time off on that day. Do it. It's one of those things. They also, with this year's election, they started super early. They started it back in like February, which made it ridiculous. Sorry, it's like giving me the option to say stuff. Hey y'all. Anyways, so they gave us in February to start passing petitions. We had to have them done by like March or April. It was like super early. Normally we go out beginning of June, and you get your letters out like the middle of May. You get your petitions the end of May. You go out in June. You have until 4th of July to have them in. Typically they approve them by the 10th of July, and then you don't start campaigning until like August, September at the earliest. And usually you go door to door, you do all this other stuff, you go meet your constituents, you let people know, you start putting up your yard signs, and then you go out again right before the election typically. But and this one is just, I feel like this entire election season's just been dragging on just because it started so early. Now it's just it's like, hey, when is this gonna be over now? It's like being like, I used to be part of dart leagues and stuff, and like towards the end of the season, like some of the dart leagues are like 6-7 months long, and you're like, Jesus, a whole year's going on, and it's tiring. And so I have all that crammed in, trying to make sure before the 5th, I at least hit everybody in the ward at least once. I go to every door, knock on the door, try to talk to people. If they're not home, I leave a door knocker, and that's the purpose of the second attempt. And this year it got away from me between everything else that's been going on, and this year we added billboards to the campaign cycle. That took a lot of weekends away from me. Let's say in previous years we weren't really part of the farmers market. So I had a lot of Saturdays free. So you start in September, let everybody know who you are, blah blah blah, and then the last one is towards the middle of August, and then you do one again in the end of September, early November, or no, September. Yeah, no, you go in you go middle of August to the middle of September, and then you go beginning of October till Election Day, and you go again. And that's just a reminder to people, like, hey, don't forget, go door, blah blah blah. And then it's a lot of work. It's a lot of work. It's a lot of work. But in order to change the world, you got, like elected officials are the ones who change the world. And in order to make a change, make a difference in this world, you got to run. You got to run. People are, you got to compete. And sorry, YouTube keeps giving me like analytics and updates. I don't have myself like an extra person here to run this stuff. So yeah, Election Day, I plan on doing a podcast. I want to do one, and actually I was talking to a constituent today, and I'm very like right leaning, and he's very left leaning, and and he's like, listen, why do we hate each other? And I said, I don't hate you, and he's like, but why do a lot of people right and left hate each other? I said, because we live in a society that everyone's polarized nowadays. And me and him talked for like an hour, and he goes, man, I'm going to grab 3 of my, staunchest Democratic friends, and you grab 3 of your, like super right Republican friends, and we'll all sit in a room and we'll talk, we'll hash out issues. And I was like, that's a great idea, because me and him had a great discourse. It was great. We talked about topics without getting nasty, or what I mean? Like, I see his side of things, but there's certain things that I like, and my ideas are different than his. And it's one of those things. It's nice to talk to a seasoned voter, and so that's an upcoming boardroom or roundtable discussion, which I think would be great, because that's kind of one of the things we wanted to do here on the podcast. And without finding common ground with certain people, you know what I mean, that like from opposing opinions, all you ever get are people that are just like you. And so a lot of my original roundtable discussions were a lot of people that thought like I do, and all you do is you just kind of like start driving yourself in that same polarizing direction. And I think this will be better. So we got that coming up. Election Day, I'd like to do one on the election, talk about some more stuff based on the election. So if you're not interested in the election, you don't have to watch that day. And I'm thinking my buddy Paul, the good husband, wants to do a podcast every because we do the live stream of or not the live stream, but we do the common council meeting, and then I think that like we should, me and him were talking about doing one for local politics, talk about things maybe outside of the city, as well as things that are further ahead, so things that above the city, and just kind of break down the local council meeting for people, talk about things that they're talking about at the county level, maybe review current events here that affect us locally, maybe even a national level. It's getting too much. There's enough people doing that shit. So, but I think that's going to be a good one in the entire month. So if you don't like having a beard and it's itchy and scratchy, and I got a bunch of friends that just hate facial hair, this is a very challenging month for them. I don't mind facial hair, and I'm always up for a challenge, so let's not shave. It'll be good for the month. But yeah, we're trying to pick a day once a week that just does that we do the breakdown, the local politics, and I'm hoping that's I was talking with a few people that are in politics, especially one of them tonight, who's running a vibrant campaign, and even he said, like, yeah, he's like, well, you and I would talk on a Friday night about this stuff, and I described it to him like football. Like, listen, I'll watch football, but I can't sit there and diagnose it for you. Like, oh, the Bills won this game, and it puts them closer to winning, or being into this league, which then moves them up to this bracket to put them third. If they do this, and that, they're in the Super Bowl. And I don't know enough about that to be able to break it down. I can, oh yeah, I watched that game, and that was a cool spot, and yeah, and they won. And these people won, and I'm not that big into it either, so I don't catch that many football games. But I do catch local politics, and I can break those down, and I can tell you, this person is only doing this for this reason. This person is passionate about this. It's right into their character, and like their upbringing and a lot of stuff. And then you got and this person's only doing this to win votes. And I think a breakdown like that gives you the voter, gives you the spectator something to like actually understand and to help kind of give you a better idea, as well as like tutorial videos. Like I've tried explaining the city water bill to people in threads, and I don't think that me typing it through texting on Facebook threads doesn't really get the point across. But then if I come across somebody who doesn't understand how the water works, I can have a video and say, listen, check this out, I'll email you the link, boom, I'll text you the link, boom. Now all of a sudden they watch it, it's a 5-minute video, it tells you all about all you need to know about the city water, and boom, they're ready to go. Yeah, a lot of upcoming stuff, kind of cool. If you were watching or heard any news about us reopening Quinn's Wake, we're going to be reopening as of after January 1st, so stay tuned on the Facebook page for Quinn's Wake for that one. Young guy wants to run it, little management agreement. So he's passionate about making it a go of it, and we'll be there to help him and do whatever, help with whatever he needs, which is great because, you get a 9-to-5 employee and it just doesn't, they're not passionate about it because they're just there for a paycheck, and, like that's should be part of the reason. But especially with small businesses, you should be excited about what you're doing and things like that. So somebody who's passionate about it and sees like a profit sharing type item like on their agenda, that usually helps with advertising, getting the point across, customer service, unique things that build the niche to bring them to their goals. And that was my issue, is like I love the idea, but I don't have time in my day. I'm so busy I can't operate a coffee shop and a construction business and deal with all the rentals and be a sitting alderman and a father of 4 and it doesn't bode well. But I can assist with some of the paperwork aspects, the operation of the business, things like that. Give tips and advice and send customers and do whatever what I mean. It's just need an extra set of hands. I need to be Michael Keaton from Multiplicity. We're now the new Paul Rudd, Living with Yourself. I saw a couple episodes of that. It seemed pretty interesting. No Shave November, folks. Sober October is over. Discount down at your local redemption center. Allegheny Beverage has a ton of these, so get them while they're hot. Lemon strawberry cream ale. So I haven't actually tried one. This is going to be my first one. Jenny Cream, also local New York. Might be owned by somebody bigger than that. They probably say it on the freaking box. But no, Genesee Brewing Company, Rochester, New York. And yeah, not owned by any of those Rhode Island ones, but Rochester, New York. So, local, domestic for the state beer. And then this is their shot at what I was drinking, those the Natter Days, the strawberry lemonade shandies. So, they were $6.99 a 12-pack. Now they are down to $4.99 a 12-pack. So that's $5 for 12 beers. It's less than 50 cents a beer. So yeah, it's less than 50 cents a beer. So, and Tony's got great giveaways. If you buy one case, you get a koozie. No, a 12-pack, you get a koozie. And if you buy 3 cases, he gives you a Genesee Cream Ale dartboard. chalkboard, the thing that goes and keeps score for your darts, and then somewhere in between he's got like little flight trays for when you're doing sampling of beers and things like that, or delivering a couple beers. So, but yeah, so I needed one down for the coffee shop. We're missing 2 dartboard chalkboards, so maybe 3 more cases from now we'll have what we need, but it'll probably be out by then. I know he just dropped the price. He's still giving that smoking deal away, and I haven't tried him, but I was a big fan of the Natter Days. I just had to kill him before I just had to kibosh him before I got diabetes, but figure helping Tony out, and Sober October's over. So I was going to help him during October, but you can't be drinking during October. It's Sober October. It's not a Natter Day. It is not a Natter Day. Nope. It's got that. It's got that Jenny Cream Ale taste. I actually don't even taste the strawberry lemonade. Or lemon strawberry. It's very mild. So, I'm trying to put my finger on what it tastes like, though. I get a little citrus, so it's almost like grapefruit. I'm getting like a grapefruit cream ale and like an O'Doul's had a baby. It's not awesome, but it's beer, and it's local. It's Jenny Cream Ale. It's from the 1800s. At least the company isn't. Cream ale. I mean, cream ale's roots run deep. Jenny C. Screamers, my friends. But first beer in 30 days. Feel my bones just dehydrating. That should probably be the only beer for tonight. I'll probably be wasted after this one. Wasted. They'll be finding me falling around the streets. So, yeah, I'd like to thank everybody for tuning in. We've only been here for 22 minutes of watching Kevin just ramble on. And in case you don't like local politics, but you are a registered voter, don't forget to vote November 5th. Very important. Muy importante. Your vote does matter. Because every person that says, well, my vote doesn't matter anyways, all you're doing is not voting and giving more people who do vote, who have opposing opinions from you. Their opinions are different than yours, and you might not like them. You're giving them more power because, let's say there's 10 of you, 10 of them, and you 10, 5 of the 10 aren't voting because they don't believe their vote matters, and all 10 of the other guy vote. Well, that means you got 5 people that think like you do, 10 people that don't think like you do, and think maybe so drastically different that your world will end with their policies. I mean, you just gave the election away. It could have been a tie. Yeah, it never works that way, but the numbers are a bit odd. Maybe 9 of them vote and 4. If you 5 had voted, you would have won. Your ideas live on with the candidate that you choose, and then vote for the candidate who you most suits your opinion. I've been getting a lot of warm responses from people because I'm actually going door to door and listening to them. I'm knocking on the door. I think, and I believe that I'm one of the only ones in this campaign, besides people at the legislator race, that are doing this. You go door to door, you knock on their door. Knock on it, hand them a door knocker, a little information about yourself. You talk to them, give them a spiel. Everyone's got an opening spiel. Right, like this is who I am, blah blah blah. Because you got to break the ice, and then we'll get more into this on campaign on election day. But nothing that I do in a campaign is a closely guarded secret. I tell everybody all the time how to win a campaign, and nobody listens, or they half listen. Everybody who's running against me ran a campaign by throwing door knockers up on their doors because they went door to door, but they didn't knock. Or they're only targeting their party. Like the Democratic candidate is only putting door knockers on Democrats' doors. The Republican registered NOP candidate created his own party, non-affiliated party candidate is actually only targeting Republicans, and he's a registered Republican. And it's like, okay, yeah, I'm registered Republican. You're not running on the Republican line, but you're registered Republican. Okay, so maybe you have more in line with these people. I'm knocking on everybody's door. You work in families, you're Green Party, you're Libertarian, you're Right to Life, NOP, which means non-party affiliate, non-affiliated party, something like that. Democrats, Republicans, I'm knocking on every door. Conservatives, independents, everybody. Everybody's door is getting knocked on. If it's somebody I specifically know I knock on candidates' doors. Like, listen, I'll give a door knocker to your wife or your husband or your child. Like, whoever answers the door. Hey, I'm Kevin. I'm running. This is a little bit about me. I'm giving you my playbook. This is it. You can't be afraid to talk to the opposing candidate's, in-laws. Every year I go and I talk to the wife of the guy I beat 4 years ago. They're not as cordial as they're exactly how you'd expect them to answer the door, but it's a difficult conversation and you got to have it. Because if you just ignore them, you're just being a pussy, and you can't do that. You're there for the people. And the people expect you to be able to stand up. And if you are not willing to have one-on-one conversations with strangers, because you don't walk into a ward and everybody there is your best friend, because then you'd win without having to go door to door, because you know everybody. You'd already be going door to door because you're best friends with everybody in the ward, and you're not. There's no physical way. There's no way that 927 registered voters are my best friend. Like, I got a lot of best friends. I got a lot of friends, but there's no way. And 927 people, that's a lot of discrepancies in ideology and, discourse and opinion and political ideology, all that stuff. But you gotta go conversate with them to see what they want, So, all right, almost at the 30-minute mark. I'm gonna let you guys go. Don't forget to vote. Don't forget to subscribe. Don't forget to like the channel. Don't forget to not shave. That goes for... This isn't just a men's month, by the way. This is for women. This is for people that were... that are transgender. Anybody. It's NoShave November. You want to participate? I told my sister she's got to participate. She goes, I can't. My girlfriend will leave me. My sister's lives in California. She's got a girlfriend, and if she said if she doesn't shave her legs, her girlfriend will leave her. We're gonna test that theory, Samantha. Test that theory. You gotta stick to your guns, and by that means disarming your razors. So, regardless, no shave November, sober October in the past. This guy wants you to vote. We need you in the voting army. Catch you in 4 days. Oh, going on the wrong one. Boom.